Good morning, everybody. I'm a new faculty member in the school. I just joined last month. And some of this work was done in collaboration with Apu Kapadia, who's also a faculty member here, but he's not here. He's on sabbatical at Carnegie Mellon. Work also involves collaborators from other institutions who are not explicitly mentioned here, but you will see them in the publications. So as you might know, online privacy exhibits a paradox. If you ask people, many of them will say that they are concerned about privacy implications of various modern technologies that they use. But then, if you look at their actual behavior, you will see that these concerns that they express don't necessarily correspond with what they do. And this kind of goes back to the point Ryan was making before, is that all of these technologies provide us with a lot of individual or social or professional benefits, but that those don't necessarily correspond with preserving privacy the way you want to. And that leads to this tension between your privacy needs and the benefits that you can derive from these systems. So what my research looks at is how do we design solutions that enable users to reconcile these two different needs, the interaction benefits and their and kind of preserving privacy or fulfilling their privacy desires. And in order to do this, I follow a socio-technical approach. What that means is that I look at human beings as part of the system. And this means that I look at user experience and usability related to the privacy aspects of the various systems that we use. And this means that I study privacy expectations and privacy needs and attitudes, as well as what people do, their actual practices and behaviors, in order to then think about how we can apply that insight to design solutions that respect privacy, as well as provide benefits to the people. So I'll give you one example. We built this location sharing system called Locasa, in which we first asked people to configure their privacy preferences for location disclosure. And then for 15 days after that, we pinged their smartphones random times, 15 times, 5 or 6, 7 times a day, to ask them to actually make location sharing disclosures. And what we found was nearly 2/3 of the time, what their privacy setting was doing did not match what they actually wanted to happen in the particular moment, right? And interestingly, part of these mismatches were, part of it was oversharing. So your privacy setting was sharing your location even though you didn't want it shared. But there was also a lot of undersharing. So you were okay with sharing your location, but the setting was too restrictive and it blocked the location from being revealed. And so when we think of oversharing is what we typically think of as a privacy violation, but undersharing is also important here, is because your overly restrictive privacy setting is preventing you from the interaction benefit that you could have derived if the system had done what you wanted to do. So in these, more details are in these respective publications. Now the opposite of a mismatch is what we term privacy fit, and this would be you have the level of privacy, you've managed to achieve the level of privacy that you would want. So if you want high privacy and you've achieved high privacy when you use the system, or if you want low privacy, you've achieved low privacy, as opposed to not having a match privacy. And in a study with Facebook users, with some of my collaborators, what we found was those Facebook users who had a matched privacy, regardless of whether they wanted high privacy or low privacy, achieved better social outcomes, social connectedness, and social capital via their Facebook use compared to those who didn't have the same level of privacy that they wanted. And so this model kind of shows that. And as I said, the goal is to take these kinds of insights and apply them. So one example of where we applied this is we suggested social navigation for privacy preferences. So social navigation would be helping you by telling you what other people, like your friends or contacts, do in order to help you make more informed decisions about privacy. And we showed that this can be a very useful way to provide some information to people for configuring privacy better. And again, this is just one example. I'm doing similar things with a whole lot of other domains and areas like messaging and social media, Internet of Things devices, Tor, and smart environments and such. I'll be happy to talk about that offline, or you can send me email. and or find me during the breaks. Thanks.